Okay, let's talk about 9 things you should probably never tell anyone. And look, this isn't about being all secretive and mysterious. It's actually a powerful strategy for protecting your peace of mind and, honestly, your energy. You know that feeling, right? That little sinking feeling in your gut that just screams, ugh, why did I say that? We have all been there. But what if I told you that feeling isn't just you being awkward? It's more like a biological alarm bell going off. And this right here is the heart of it. When you share too much, your brain literally perceives a loss of control. And that feeling, that's a primary trigger for anxiety. You've given a piece of your story away and you can't pull it back. That's why you feel so vulnerable, so exposed. So, here's our game plan. We're going to start with the personal price you pay for oversharing. Then we'll talk about guarding your inner world, protecting your most important relationships, and how to master your own momentum. And we'll wrap it all up with the real power of silence. All right, let's dive right into our first section. This is all about the personal cost of being a little too open, starting with the stuff that really hits close to home. So what's at the very top of the list? The number one thing you should probably keep to yourself? It's your deepest insecurities. And here's why. You know, sometimes it just feels so good to vent, doesn't it? But that little burst of relief is what psychologists call the cathartic illusion. It feels like you're healing, but it's a trick. Often, the more you talk about your insecurities, the more you cement them in your own mind. And worse, it can subtly change how even the kindest people see you, leaving you feeling more judged than understood. Okay, next up, let's shift from our vulnerabilities to 2 other parts of our inner world that are just as crucial to protect. So, we've got 2 sides of the same coin here, your acts of kindness and your emotional triggers. One is about what you put out into the world, and the other is about what the world can poke and prod inside of you. And believe it or not, both need protection. So, when you start talking about all the good things you do, you risk falling into something called the self-presentation trap. Your brain starts to connect doing good deeds with getting praise. And slowly but surely, your motivation can shift from pure compassion to a need for applause. The act itself stops being the reward. The validation becomes the reward. I love this analogy. When you tell people exactly what pushes your buttons, you are literally handing them the remote control to your emotional state. Now, even if they have the best intentions, they might accidentally press those buttons, and suddenly you're not in the driver's seat anymore. Guarding your triggers isn't about being closed off, it's about staying in control. All right, now we're getting into the really tricky stuff, our relationships. And strategic silence here isn't about hiding things. It's about keeping your most important bonds healthy and strong. Okay, when it comes to relationships, there are 3 absolute landmines where oversharing can cause some serious damage. Family drama, relationship troubles, and of course, money. Let's tackle family first. Okay, check out this venting cycle. You share a painful family story to get some relief, but the person you're talking to, they form a permanent negative opinion. Now here's the trap. You eventually forgive your family member and move on, but your friend's negative judgment, it sticks. You haven't actually solved the drama, you've just created an echo of it. This one is so important for anyone in a relationship. When you vent about your partner to someone else, you create this thing called emotional triangulation. You're basically taking all this energy that should be used to solve problems with your partner and redirecting it outward. It weakens your bond because you're forming a little alliance against them. And then there's money. The second people know your financial situation, whether it's good or bad, their brains unconsciously start doing the math. It's called status perception bias. If you have more, people's expectations of you change. If you have less, they might feel pity instead of respect. Either way, that feeling of equality can just quietly vanish. All right, on to our final theme. This is a big one. It's all about how keeping certain things private is absolutely essential for building and keeping your momentum in life. So we have all heard this advice a million times, right? Speak your goals into existence. Well, guess what? The psychological truth is pretty much the exact opposite. When you announce a big goal, your brain gets this little hit of dopamine. It feels good. So good, in fact, that your brain feels like you've already accomplished something. And this creates an intention behavior gap, which just kills your motivation to do the actual work. And that leads us right into our final 2 items, which are all about protecting that precious momentum. One is for your future, and the other is for right now. We're talking about your detailed plans and your moments of genuine happiness. Think about it. The moment you share your detailed plans, you invite a storm of opinions and doubts. Suddenly, you're spending all your energy defending your plan instead of doing it. And it's kind of the same with pure happiness. When you share it too widely, you expose it to what's called emotional misalignment. Other people's envy or comparison can just take the air out of your joy. So, where does that leave us? What does this all add up to? Let's bring it all home and talk about how this isn't about hiding at all. It's about empowerment. This quote really says it all, doesn't it? Choosing to be silent isn't a sign that you're weak or afraid. It is a profound act of self-respect. It means you value your own inner world enough to be its guardian. And I absolutely love this reframe. The goal isn't to talk less. The goal is to leak less. To stop letting your precious mental and emotional energy just seep out. It's about consciously deciding what's for you and what's worth sharing.
So I'll just leave you with this one question. After hearing all this, what part of your own peace, your own momentum, or your own inner world, what part of it are you going to choose to protect?